good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Church. So good to have you with us today, wherever you are watching from. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, or you're doing catch-up later on, we're so glad that you've come to spend this time with us at Talking Church with The Forge. We always do that, and I keep promising that one day we will turn the camera around and let you see that there is a room full of people here, and that's not just sound effects by our tech team there. So, hey, I hope you're having a great week, and thanks for the feedback from last week. A lot of people got back to us about that conversation we had, myself and Pastor Gina, about just raising kids and looking to raise kids in a godly way, and loads of feedback, so well done. Don't forget that you can be asking questions today, and you can be chatting on our live chat and be a part of today's show, and also let us know if there's subjects you want us to speak about in the future, because that would be our privilege also. So big welcome to you, and a huge welcome to a special guest today, who's another very, very, very busy person in Family Church, who has worn many hats over the years, and is wearing very significant hats now. I want to give you the warm welcome. Come on forward, let's hear it for Philippa. Woo.
Thanks, it's good to be here. Thank you for inviting me. As you say, I've worn many hats over my time in Family Church. Probably the most significant until recently was kids pastor.
Yes.
Which I really enjoyed for about 12 years. And now I'm still safeguarding coordinator, but I also am a primary leader along with my husband for church family.
And you're an assistant pastor as well in the Portsmouth congregation.
Yeah,
a multi-hatted person. Is that the right way of putting that? Multi-hatted? Is that good terminology?
Good.
Let me just check with Stuart. Is that all right, Stuart? Okay, a multi-hatted person. All right. And, a lot of people in Family Church aren't they? Because there's so much to do.
Yeah.
And we're constantly saying to people, come on, step forward, step forward, step forward. But when people don't step forward too quick, we just take on more responsibility ourselves because we need to get this done.
Yeah.
So, years as running kids' church in Family Church. Was that an exciting time?
It was amazing. And we've got a very thriving kids' church now. I think in Portsmouth we had 145 children last week.
That's a lot of kids.
It was amazing to watch it grow, and amazing to be able to bring children into a relationship with Jesus and to actually put their faith into their lives.
145 kids is a lot of kids, especially when we still don't have our own building. Come on, Jesus, we want our own building.
Absolutely.
Because that's so many. How many classrooms is that?
Oh, I think we're in 5 or 6 classrooms.
And they all have to be set up every morning, broken down.
That's right.
What an incredible team. How many kids workers were working on Sunday, roughly? Give me a ballpark figure.
Oh, I don't know. That's not my ball anymore, Pastor Andy.
What would you estimate or guesstimate?
I would say that there were at least 15, probably slightly more than that.
Yeah, that's amazing. We love our teams, hey? Yeah. So you have served in many different roles, some more exciting than others, like the safety coordinator. That can be an interesting role. It's not the most dynamic, but it's very important, isn't it?
It's important. It's just important to make sure that everybody in the church is kept safe as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I want to open up today a role that's really true. If we were saying running our race, being in our lane, looking over the family aspect of what we are at Family Church, because obviously we're called Family Church. We don't want that to be a title on tin.
No.
We want it to be the content.
Absolutely.
So what does that involve with your life, looking after the family element of what we do?
Okay, well, I think it's important to start with something that you actually said on Sunday when you were speaking, and you talked about love, and you talked about 1 Corinthians 13, everything it says that love should be like. And actually, I think that is where church family begins, because it has to be all about love. It's all about loving people. And I have realised that I've been in Family Church 19 years. Over those 19 years, the church really has become my family. Yeah. And I think that is what we want to happen to everybody who's a part of the church. We want them all to feel a part of and be a part of a family.
We adopted this statement just before lockdown. And I love this statement. We want to be a small church with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And what do we mean by that?
It's quite difficult particularly in the bigger congregations like Portsmouth, where we can have, say, 450 people on a Sunday. It's quite difficult to ensure that people actually feel known and cared about. And so in our role, looking after church family, we want to try to break that down so that people feel significant. Even though they're part of a large number, they're valued, they're known about, they're celebrated if there's something to celebrate, or we're with people when they're going through difficult seasons.
Because it's interesting when you look over the different, obviously both of us are blessed in age enough. That's a good way of putting that, right? Do you like that?
Yeah, we're same age.
Navigated that well. To be able to remember church in different seasons. And for the last 20 years, there really has been an emphasis on the event, on the meeting, where I can go back to a time where I was in quite a large church, but it really was more of a church family. And then we've come through this season where we've got to put on a good event, we've got to be attractive, we've got to bring the people in. But also, I think it's not a matter of being good and bringing people in and doing what we do well on stage. Church has got to be a family, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do feel like after the pandemic, we've had a bit of a shift as we've come back to church.
That's interesting.
We've come back very much feeling like we want it to be family. And so I believe that we're better at welcoming people, and hopefully we're getting better at making people fit when they come or feel that they fit, and to establish them with friendships, relationships. Part of that can be done through connect groups. Obviously, if you're part of a big church, it's really important that you also are part of a small group of people where you feel as if you belong, you feel as if people know you, they know what you're dealing with in life, and they're alongside you praying with you. So a really effective way to be part of the family is to be part of a connect group, and then the connect group leaders will kind of be your mini pastors, and they'll look after the small group of people that they have. So I think that's part of it, but it's also of just making sure that we're getting to know people as they come in. That as they come in, they shouldn't have to strive to be a part of the church. They shouldn't have to be there for so many weeks to be a part of the church.
Themselves
no,
or anything,
exactly. As soon as they come, they should be valued and a part of things. And I know that you mentioned on Sunday about...
Now, let me just open that up. On Sunday, we did one of our family values. And we're going through 12 family values, which are the values of family church, right across our congregations. And we got on Sunday to the family value in Portsmouth of we are family, and we took a morning to talk about what that looks like. So what were some of the key elements of that message that resounded or resonated with you?
You said 3 words which I thought were absolutely key, and that was love, acceptance and patience. And if you're a parent, I'm a parent of 4 children, I know obviously Andy's got 5 children, you know that all those things are so important in a family at home. It's easy to love your kids, and actually to be patient is something that you sometimes have to work a little harder at. But it's the same with everybody who comes into church. And I think that we need to actually remember we are family and treat people as if they are family. Obviously, I'm a bit older now. So for me, I've really loved it recently that I've been able to get involved with some of our new families with children who've been struggling at school and get to know them, support them, and really to become that grandma figure in their family. And just another thing that I think we can really celebrate is that we are such a diverse church.
We really are.
Yeah. So we've got people from all over the world. We've got people of many different ages attending, people from different social groups, really. And I think that we need to, as Christians, understand that we really are. We're all heirs of the Father. We're all family together. And to celebrate our differences, but really get to know each other and to understand each other. I think that's so important.
On Sunday, obviously, I took a big stand talking about how we value pure equality, that there's no place for isms like racism and segregation and prejudice. We don't do that. We are God's family on the earth, and those things have no place with us.
Absolutely.
And I think our environment, or the church family environment we have, is really genuinely that, because of the nations that we have that feel like family church is home. And that's really, they say the proof is in the pudding. When you look at the just the incredible diversity of people coming, it really blesses my heart. But also the ages.
Both. And I think that's why I love it so much. I come from a family with a lot of diversity, actually. And so I love to be in a place where I see that diversity week in, week out. Yeah. And I've got a friend who's recently joined the church. We've been friends since we were teenagers. And she said that's what she loves about it. She said, I imagine this is what heaven is going to be like. People from different cultures, all together, all worshipping, same
Father. It says that in Revelations, isn't it? Every tribe, every tongue, all standing before Jesus as co-equals. Yeah. One superstar, Jesus Christ. The rest of us, there's no place for, we're from this nation, this is the colour of our skin, this is our culture, this is our economic situation. There's no place for that in God's family. In fact, if people are struggling in any way, especially economically, that's where family steps in.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's where you can see the difference between an event where it's about me, myself, me coming to an event for what I need, and family being, we're all in this together. Let's walk with each other. Yeah,
because we're doing a lot, and I know you've talked about this in Talking Church for our community, but we're also wanting to help our new families that are settling. We've got a lot of families at the moment coming in from Nigeria who are coming with virtually nothing, and it's lovely to be able to bless them as well with some food help. Di last week was able to provide a buggy for a family that didn't have a buggy for their baby. So
it's practical, isn't it?
It's very practical.
It's not just that classic love you with the love of the Lord, my brother or my sister. It's love is a verb.
Absolutely.
Love is a verb.
Yeah, I mean, we can say that we love people, we can say that we're family, but actually it's in our actions that we show that. Yeah. And part of my role has very much been to find ways of helping people to support the people within the church, the family. So one of the things that we're using now is called Meal Train, and we provide meals particularly for families with a new baby for a couple of weeks, but also families that are going through other situations.
Can you explain how Meal Train works? Because maybe people in family church, you say, what's Meal Train? How can I get on that train?
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
Like that? See what I did there? How can I get on that train?
Yeah, so Meal Train, it's absolutely brilliant resource. It's a website that we just signed up to. Basically, if you receive an email saying, could you help this family, you can go in there, you can say, yes, I could cook a meal on this day, and you can say what you're going to take for them. The family can tell you what they like, what they dislike, what would be a good delivery time, and other facts about the family so that you know who you're cooking for. We're using it quite effectively. I'm just very proud of myself, introduced it into Gosport during the week, and Gosport people are just getting on board now as well with it, so that is excellent.
So give us a scenario of somebody that's going through something in life where Meal Train has been such a blessing.
Okay. Well, probably our longest ever Meal Train that we did was over about a 5-month period.
Wow.
Yeah. For a church family, had a little boy as a toddler, and the mum gets extremely sick during pregnancy so that she can't function properly. So she wasn't really able to look after the family. So during that time, about 3 or 4 nights a week, people from the church cooked meals and took them round, and we managed to sustain that for about 5 months.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Really
that shows the strength of church family, hey?
Yeah, and it's just being aware. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to be a leader to be involved in helping other people. You just need to see a need and do something about it.
And either a good cook or a good takeaway.
Exactly.
It's like
people
everybody's
have sent pizzas, fish and chips, whatever. It's just a way of showing your support, and that's just a demonstration of love, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I love that. And again, this is some of the stuff that's happening in church behind the scenes, because we've got people coming in each week. Some of them have got 0 experience of church.
Right.
So we are that first moment to say, this is what God wants the church to be on the earth.
Yeah.
But then we've got people that have had experiences of church, but like some people have had experience of good family, toxic family, inspirational family, sometimes their experience may not have been great, or it may have been event-focused.
Yeah.
But when people said, we are church, it meant, come and join us on Sunday for an hour and a half, get on with your life, we'll see you next week. That's not what we're building. And it's these little things that aren't that little, called Meal Train, that help us to care for each other. What's some other initiatives that we may be doing?
Well, we always try to mark a loss, a significant loss in people's lives, particularly if they lose a partner or a parent. We want them to know that we're praying for them, that we're with them, and so we get involved at that point in time. We try and remember the first anniversary of their loss, because obviously that's a difficult time too. We're very much involved in celebrating things that people are going through, so celebrating marriages, special anniversaries, obviously births. Yeah, so all different ways.
You keep a very good record of all this stuff as well. Again, because for me, I walk in the office this morning and there's a card and a note from you saying, don't forget, Pastor Andy, this person's walking through that 1 year anniversary of losing someone. And I get to fill that card in, and you make us as pastors look really good at remembering key events. Yeah. But that's quite a job when we've got so many congregations and so many people. So huge well done.
Thanks.
Because I think it's awesome when someone is remembering a year later somebody that's passed in their life, because we celebrate the good stuff as well.
Yeah.
But suddenly there's a card or a gift that says, we remember with you.
Yeah. Because,
that's family, right?
Yeah, and it's very easy, isn't it, to think that everybody else has moved on and you're the only one who's still there, still struggling with the loss that you've had. So it is good to know that there are other people around who have remembered and know that it's just not the easiest of times for you.
So we've got loads of initiatives going on that help Family Church to be family. So please, 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 if you're part of Family Church, email Philippa, get involved, jump on board. Another thing that I want to look at is a subject that we touched on in the message on Sunday of how we view each other.
Yeah, I'm glad that you said that, because
Paul's letter to Timothy tells us very clearly, doesn't it?
Yes, about old men being respected and older ladies being respected. Yeah, and I can say from my own personal point of view that I have a couple of women in the church that are older than me. There aren't that many people older than us, though, are there, Andy?
We look to my dad, don't we, Dave Elmes, and to a lady called Babs, and we've got a great community of people who are older than us.
Yeah.
We don't want to shove them in a corner.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
we want
not.
to honour them and get from them.
And there's a very dear lady called Lorna who I think if I could adopt her as my mum, I would, because she's wonderful and she's faith building and she hears from God. So to spend time with her, last week we went out for lunch together.
Spiritual adoption.
So brilliant, yeah.
Maybe we're onto something here, spiritual adoption.
Yeah, I think so. So yeah, I'm very thankful for those older people, but also we can learn from the younger generation too. Yeah. So the good thing about being in a church is that actually you find that you have friends across the board, you have younger friends. And at the moment, Richard and I are leading a marriage enrichment course, which we're really enjoying. And I was quite blessed last week. One of the ladies came up to me afterwards, a much younger lady with her first baby, and she said, "Oh, you're so like me." And she said, "I just want to learn things from you." And then, very blessed I feel, because she said, "I'm going to cook you a Nigerian meal as well and bring it across to the Empower Centre."
Oh, come on.
So, yeah.
Did she say what day?
So it's like having adoptive children as well. And I feel that very much. My family is spread far and wide, my own kids. So I just know that I'm so thankful that God has placed many other people to be kids in my life too.
I said on Sunday, and I know you've already resounded this today, Family Church, it's not a gimmick. It really is family. It's like Gina is from America. She has no natural family here. You know, I've got one brother who lives up past Guildford. My dad is in the church, which I'm blessed. But over the years, the people in church have been the uncles and the aunties to my children. They've been like the cousins. They've been like, it's incredible what church can be when we do it God's way, right? Yeah,
absolutely. And I just think that it brings such a richness to your life. And I've been struck, as I was thinking last night about what I was going to talk about today, I was struck by how much my life is full, just full to overflowing. And can I just read the version of this verse that I've got? So in Luke 6:38, it says, "Give and you will receive. Your gift will return to you in full, pressed down, shaken together to make room for more, running over and pulled into your lap. The amount you give will determine the amount you get back." And that is definitely my experience. Family church is almost my entire life, apart from my own, obviously, precious family. But and I just have experienced so much that as I give to the church, as I sow, then I just reap so much back in support, friendship, love from people around me. And I literally am overflowing. Yeah.
It's the kingdom, isn't it? What you put in, you'll always get out more. And the funny thing about family churches, there's so much going on. And sometimes you're like, I really should have some time off. I should have a night off. But like Sunday night, it was the baptisms.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're like, I just got to be there.
Yeah. I had a battle with myself on Sunday because I actually had a really, really busy week. I was quite tired. And I thought, you know what? I don't think I'm going to go to the worship night and baptisms tonight. But then a young girl who joined the church a few months ago, maybe a year ago, and actually I was the person who met her that first day and brought her in. She told me she was getting baptised. So I thought, I've got to be there. And I was so glad that I came because not only that, but then suddenly one of my adoptive grandchildren
absolutely
spontaneously said, I want to be baptised. And I was so thankful that I was there for that moment. I was so proud of him.
You would have hated missing that.
I would have done, yeah.
If you would have heard, he got baptised that night, you would I know. And hey, God knows. Hey, let's stick around this chapter 5, verse 1, 2 of 1 Timothy. Because I think there's so much fruit in there that people like, well, the Bible doesn't teach what church should be. Yes, it does.
Yeah, it does.
It numbers, especially Paul, he understood that. He said, let older men be treated with the honour of fathers. The problem is that some people don't honour natural fathers, so they have no concept of honouring spiritual ones or people in the church that are older. But that's what we're here to correct, bring kingdom to this life, right?
Yes, absolutely.
But it says, when you have ladies that are older than you, honour them like mothers. I think the Western culture isn't that good at this compared to Nigerian or Asian culture. There seems to be more of a natural upbringing to honour people older than you. But again, we want to see kingdom come. We want to see God's way come into our way. But then it speaks of younger men, treat them like younger brothers, and younger women. And I love this. I beat on some guys on Sunday morning. I said that we're to regard younger women as sisters with all purity.
Yes.
That's what Paul says.
Yeah.
And so I said to some of the younger guys, all right, don't be hitting on someone that God says is your sister, and fear hit the place. Reverence of God. Yeah, right, kind of hit the place. But that's the way Paul was saying, when you see church, see each other in the context of family, give honour where honour's due. But in other parts of the Bible, it actually says, let the older ladies teach the younger ones.
Yeah.
Let the older men teach the younger men. But like you said, that's a two-way street. You know, recently we said, see you later to Phyllis,
Yes.
who was one of our older people in church, and she went off to reign in glory with Jesus, which was a passion in her heart. But she loved learning from the young people.
Yeah, she did. She loved learning. She loved life. She loved church life particularly. And I'm sure many of the women will remember when we went to a getaway one year that actually Phyllis came to. I think she was probably in her 80s at the time, or maybe her 90s, but she was bouncing on the beds.
She got given the honeymoon suite in the resort, didn't she?
Yes, absolutely.
In the complex. And so happy was witnessed bouncing on double bed in her 90s, which is brilliant.
Yeah, and I think just to see that enthusiasm for life and love of God and still wanting to be involved in church life, supporting young people. She took a younger lady to live in her home. I've always thought, I hope that I'm like Phyllis when I'm that age. Yeah, we can learn so much, can't we?
And again, it was her teachability. She wasn't ever sitting there like, I'm old, I know everything.
Yeah.
She was always ready to learn and adapt. Imagine if the younger looking up and the older looking down both had that teachability. We are family. It's like, you have embarrassing moments. It's like, even me, we're relatively still young. We are, Philippa.
Thanks.
But sometimes, you try to be down with it with the kids, and they give you that look like, don't, But there's other stuff that we can learn. Yeah. But it's family. When we look at love, it's got to be that 1 Corinthians 13, that we are patient with each other. We are non-envious of each other. All of those singular components of love really find their home in family church or in family, don't they?
They really do. They really do. And you also mentioned that sometimes families can have warts, and
Yes, they can.
and not really do what you're expecting them to do. And something that I've definitely got a heart for is those people who do come out of the church, because it happens from time to time. They get offended, they leave, and it's not giving up on them, and keep on loving them and keep on knowing that the door is open. They're still part of the family.
Yeah,
just like when your kids do something that you're disappointed with, you don't shut the door to them. The door's open. You're waiting for them to come back and you know, to re-engage with the family. And I think that's really important.
It is. And again, it's like, it can seem so difficult, but it's so simple. The dynamics that we know in a healthy family, not a toxic one, a healthy family, or perspective we have of a healthy family, should be the natural components or outworkings of how we do life together. We opened up on Sunday speaking about why are we family, and I spoke about how every person that's born again suddenly is born of God, where God is their heavenly Father, which makes us heirs to the Father. Jesus said we're joint heirs with him. But that leaves us together really as brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
And there was a number of things that we picked on Sunday. And hey, if you missed the message on Sunday, you can go to our social media platforms and watch that and listen to that message. And it was all about we are family. But one of the things that we looked at was, you know, families stick around to sort stuff out.
Yeah.
And because there are moments, there are offences, but there are in a normal family.
Yeah, just like a normal family. There's occasions when you might disagree with somebody about something, or or I don't know, something's happened that you didn't like, but that's up to you what you do with it, really. And my advice would always be just get over it. Get over it. It's only a small thing, and then forgive and move on and re-engage with the people because
build a bridge.
Yeah.
Get over it.
Yeah. And that's what happens in normal family, isn't it?
It is.
You know, we have moments where we get impatient with one another within a family.
But people may go quiet for a few days.
Yeah.
But they don't leave.
No.
They don't storm out.
Yeah,
they stick around to sort it out.
Yeah.
And if we can think of ourselves and see ourselves like God sees us, you know, when God looks at us, he sees a bride, he sees a kingdom, he sees an army. But he also sees the household of God. He sees us as his family.
Yeah.
And I often think, you know, having 5 children, me and Gina ourselves, and you having 4, that you look down and you're like, sometimes the way that we view our kids in their developing years must be similar to God. That sometimes he's like, will you just play nicely together?
Yeah.
God must look at us sometimes and go, really?
Yeah.
Play nicely together. Get over it. Come on, we're going to sit in the room. Nobody's going out until we sort this out. You know, all the normal scenarios in a family.
Absolutely.
Just because we're a bit older, maybe we need to realise the Heavenly Father wants us to function together like that. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was thinking really that it's up to us, isn't it, to also look at people as the Father looks at them. And sometimes people in church can be difficult. I don't know if you've ever noticed that.
I have.
Yeah, and sometimes people don't behave in the way that we expect, or they don't walk on with God as we expect them to, and they fall off the rails for a bit and come back. But if we can look at people with the heart that God looks at them, that they're cherished, that we're all cherished, but that person is a cherished child of God, then it actually helps us to deal with some of those bad behaviours, just like with our kids, because we've always got the underlying love for our children, but we should have that for everybody within the church family too. So that give people a bit of a break. If they mess up, they make a mistake, the door's open, we still love you.
We don't shut the door.
Yeah, exactly.
Me and Gina had a beautiful experience with somebody recently who had left family church, and they'd left in a not good way, but suddenly felt drawn back.
Great.
And they had the courage to talk to us about that. And there wasn't a need for any sorries, because we had no unforgiveness, but they wanted to say, we left wrong. What we did when we left, who we spoke to, we did that wrong. And I really admire that courage.
Yeah, that's
but
great.
all of those things are secondary to them coming home.
Yeah.
Isn't that the story of the prodigal child?
Absolutely.
But again, Jesus says, all right, you want to understand my kingdom? It's family. There was a father, and Jesus portrays the father never giving up on a child, never wanting the child not to come home. And then obviously you have the older brother and the attitudes contained within his storyline.
Yeah.
But then you have that beautiful epic moment, the key moment of somebody that left coming home to a door that's wide open and a table and a party that's ready for them.
Yeah, and maybe feeling a bit anxious about what reception they're going to get when they come back. But I really think that that's something we do well in family church, that actually we are able to embrace people even if we've had a bit of a falling out, and then that's very soon forgotten, and we're just moving on doing life together like you would in a normal family.
Prodigals coming home is a part of, I think, what God is doing now.
Well, I'm hoping so.
Yeah. You know, children that left the household, people that left the God's kingdom, left church, got distracted, compromised, stormed out, whatever the context. I just sense that as the Spirit of God is moving across the earth, he's calling the sons and daughters back home. Where's home? Well, the church is the household of God, the family of God on the earth, not just in heaven. So we need to be ready. I really think we need to be ready to see people coming through the doors, and also teach the church family, let's make sure there's a genuine warm welcome.
Yeah, for everybody who comes
not
through
a judgment.
The door. No.
Not a what about me, I didn't leave. Older brother mentality.
Exactly, yeah. Just making people really welcome and know that they're loved, and as you would in a family, that love is ongoing. It's not dependent on really what they do. It's just love because it's unconditional, just like God's love for us is unconditional and full of grace and full of mercy.
Always.
That's how we need to approach everybody, I think, really.
Other thoughts, other key verses that when we look at this subject, you say, this verse speaks to me about this.
Okay, well, the main verse for me, and I think it's one that I kind of do try and base my life on, is in Galatians. I can't remember it all, so I'm going to read it. Galatians 6, verses 9 and 10. So let's not get tired of doing what is good. At just the right time, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't give up. Therefore, whenever we have the opportunity, we should do good to everyone, especially to those in the family of faith. And I think that's so important. It's not just looking at people out there supporting charities. It's actually doing good to the people that we're meeting with every day, every week in our church family. Because you've said so many times, the church isn't the building, and it's not about a Sunday. It's every day of our lives. We're part of that family, and it's looking to see how can we bless other people. What could I do this week that would be a blessing or a help to somebody else, even if it's just offering to take somebody's child to school for them, offering to hold one of the babies. We've got a family at the moment who've got twins. It's quite hard work. Going in and saying, yeah, I could cuddle a baby for a bit. You know, there's so many ways that we can bless people. If we notice that people are lacking something, or we could pay for that for you. You know.
And often it's little things, isn't it? Non-expensive, apart from giving time and certain things. I don't know about you, but I really want to see this break out bigger than ever before in how we do life together.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
What's some of the things, you've shared on some of them, but just underline again, if somebody's maybe watching and they're like, you know what, this is good. I always considered church more of an event I went to on a Sunday, but I want to discover church as my family, God's family, my family on the earth. What would be one or two things that they could do to make that happen?
Well, I think the first thing is to make sure that you're actually engaging with people. On a Sunday, that's the easiest time to meet somebody, but it's not a good time to build a relationship. So get in talking with people. Don't just stay with your own little group. Get to know other people, get to speak to people, and then invite them to your house. Invite them to drop in for a dinner, or just come for an evening if you don't want to cook, whatever it is. But I think you have to take some ownership of being part of the family. You have to make sure you're involved in the family.
We just on that, we teach within the Forge. Just check you're still there with us. We teach within the Forge about repenting for passivity. And we speak in that course about how it's often just passivity that's stopping you getting up and starting a conversation with someone.
Yes.
It's passivity that makes you think everyone needs to come to you.
Yeah.
And it's just breaking passivity. The other side of passivity is a rich experience of relationship.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's saying, all right, let me walk across the room. Let me initiate a conversation. Let me invite someone around my home. Let me say, can I help? The other side of passivity is an amazing field of relationships.
Yeah, well, I think it's an adventure. For me, I've realised that my life is never boring. It's always an adventure. I've got friends who are, retiring now and they're wanting to go off and travel the world. I don't need to because the world is right here.
The world came to us in Family Church.
Exactly. The world's come to us. And through just engaging with people, you can build friendships that you probably never thought you would have. I've got a dear friend now. She actually is part of Forge, not here this morning. But she came into my life in a really random way, but we've just connected, and she's bringing something to my life. She is from Zambia, so I've never been to Zambia. I know nothing about it, but I'm learning about her culture, and yes, and I'm learning things which I never would have known otherwise, and getting blessed in a way I never would have had. But that's only because we chose to engage with one another. So, yeah, like in any church, it's all about what you give, what you're prepared to put in. Join a team, get involved, and then you'll find that life just becomes so rich.
Because family are at their best when they're doing things together. It's like if you go, I made reference to some shows that people may not forget, depending on or may know in calling their age, the Waltons, Little House on the Prairie, and all that era. They were great watching. You didn't have much to watch on TV, so they were great shows in their time.
Loved them.
But it was like often they would be their best when they were building a barn together. They were bringing in the crops together. I think family is sometimes at its best when we're on team, doing things together. It's like on Sunday morning, I gave honour on Sunday morning to our set-up team, who are always there at 7 o'clock. But it's a family community. But on Sunday, not only were they at 7, it monsooned on them.
It did, yeah.
And they got saturated. So we want to say a huge thank you to everyone that's on set-up team. We honour you. We thank you for all you do. But when you go to set-up team, it's not people doing a job.
No.
It's a community, it's a family of people loving what they're doing together.
Yeah.
Across the departments of church, I think that's got that same feeling, hasn't it?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. As you want to achieve something together and you pull together as a team, while you're doing that, you're not only achieving, but you're getting to know one another and you're chatting and you're building life together. Just like in any good family, a good family is one where they know they're a team and it's a common goal and the kids are helping, and it's all, there's a lot of communication involved. And I think that's what you get from being part of a team. You become part of that conversation. You become valued by people, not just because of what you're doing, but because of who you are, because you're giving people a chance to get to know you.
So this is really good. This is really a how-to. If somebody's a part of Family Church and they're like, I don't want to be on the fringe, I don't want to be a spectator, I want to feel what you're speaking of about church being family. Number one, get up and walk across the room.
Yeah, speak to people.
Yeah, speak to people.
Even if it makes you feel a bit nervous, they're probably just as nervous as you.
They are. Number two, get on a team.
Yeah.
Because family doing things together really bonds you. Would number three be connect groups, small groups?
Yeah, connect groups. It doesn't even really, we're obviously we'd like everybody to join an official connect group. But I know that some people have more natural groups that come together all from the church. If you've got children a similar age, you might want to take them somewhere to play together, just spend time together, whatever you've got in common. I know that there's some guys in the church who love to go fishing. Yeah. They're fishing together. But the important thing is that they're in community. You can't just be an island in church. And you won't benefit from being part of the family either. Yeah,
I think one of the things that doesn't hurt me but always annoys me a little bit is when you hear people say, I'm leaving because there's no love here. No one talks to me. It's a clique.
Yeah.
And you sit there and you hear that and you go, it's really not.
No.
You won't come out of isolation.
Yeah, there's a bit of putting it on the person, but there's also a bit of let's put it on us as a church family
what does
as
that
well,
look like?
Because it can't be just my job to notice people or your job. Yeah. It's got to be everybody's job. We're all a part of the family.
That's so good.
We all need to be looking out for people. We all need to be loving people. Yeah. Exactly.
Love that.
So otherwise we won't be a proper family. But if we're all invested and we're all looking out for one another, we're looking out for the kids, then we will become a real family. And I believe we are a real family.
Yeah. And we're learning how to be the family of God that God sees us as.
Yeah.
It's like salvation. The moment you believe, you get everything you're ever going to get, and you spend the rest of your life working out what you got. And it's the same when you come into the family of God. You come into something that's beautiful in the sight of God, but then you come on this discovery course or pathway to realising, oh wow,
there's so
this
much
really
more.
this is. So I love the statement that you made about the richness it adds to our life, because again, you know, humanity outside of God is inherently selfish, and asks the question, well, what do I get out of this?
Yeah.
Now, with joining in and being family, you give so much to others, but I love the word and the terminology you use, Philippa, on it brings richness.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say on that?
Well, it is what you make it.
Yeah.
Really, I think like so many things in life, and I've been on the Christian journey a long time myself, and I have learnt through that the more that I give, the more that I pour out into church, into the family, the more I get back, and to a point that actually I haven't got very much family left in this country. I've lost my parents, I've lost my sister. But I'm not lacking because I'm invested in our church family, and that is my family. It truly is.
Yeah.
I can't imagine now not being a part of it. So to get that richness, to get that enjoyment out of life, it doesn't have to be something external. You're never going to fill those gaps with material things. But actually, in the family of God, in the church, you can be the richest person ever because of the people around you.
You've got to break that passivity.
You've got to do it.
Get up, walk across the room. And again, I know, you know, Gina's sisters, we've probably got June watching today, they weren't really a part of our life like we'd love them to be because of the distance.
Yeah.
And now some of my kids are in different parts of the world. And like I said, my dad was always in church. My brother was in the country, but we were busy doing stuff. But then I think of characters like Mary from Ireland.
Oh, yeah.
She really was such an auntie
Yes.
to my children.
Yeah.
When my kids were being born, it was like Mary became Auntie Mary. She was hilarious. Mary was like, the kids got away with nothing.
Yes.
Nothing. She was a brilliant. But whenever me and Gina had to go away or we needed some time out, she was the arms that really held our children. She moved into our house. Kids got away with nothing. You know, it was brilliant. But then I look at, like, one of the things to me, I don't fear age. I just want to live every season well.
Yeah. That's right.
I don't fear
We're not
age.
done yet, are we,
I'm not
Andy?
done. I'm coming into different seasons. But when I look back, isn't it beautiful the amount of time that we've done life together in family church, to look at some of the relationships? It's like, you know, with Stu and Carla, 25 years. Wayne and Nikki, 25 years plus. But the trust you have in each other, the confidence you have, that sometimes in life you have bomb drop moments.
Yeah.
You don't want them. You want to, you know, by faith declare they never happen, but they do, because it's a part of life. People die, things happen that aren't funny. I love it that in those moments, not that we ever sit in church going, we're strong, we are family, I are family, we're strong, we're strong. But in those moments you see it.
Yeah.
The family closes in around you. People start bringing food.
Yeah.
People start praying for you.
Yeah.
We've known that, you know, both of Gina's parents are in glory. My mum's in glory. We've had moments in our life as pastors of the church that have been very, very challenging. But we always knew the church family come around us and say, we've got your back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyone that doesn't experience that is missing out.
They really are. They're really missing out.
It's Ecclesiastes, it says, pity the man that has no friend.
Yeah.
Pity the man that's alone.
Yeah.
And you would have seen those moments in your journey, right?
Yeah, I've had many difficult moments. Well, so many. I don't know where to begin, really. But there was one particular time where I discovered that I had a cancer in my lung. I didn't actually know at the time. I knew there was something, and I was going to the hospital, and Pastor Carla just said, do you want me to come with you? And just that meant so much to me, just to have somebody else there as I sort of received that news and had that scan. And so many times in my life I've seen that. People just pick me up when things have been tough. And what would I have done without the church family? I don't know. I don't know what I would have done. So.
They're there to love, they're there to hug. And then Mary was always there, get over it. She had that Irish, just get over it, get up and do it.
You need that sometimes, don't you?
You need a little bit of a loving slap. The thing is, the difference between a slap and a loving slap is the heart behind it, you know?
Yeah.
And then obviously we're all patient when you think about like Stuart's jokes. No, you know, we just sit there.
Yeah, we keep taking it.
Yeah, we do. No one's going anywhere.
We haven't run away.
But he has got better. over the years,
Little by little.
they just didn't make sense. But now I found myself every now and then going, that's good. You know, we're allowing him to grow. He feels safe.
But
to
actually,
grow.
in all seriousness, you really get to know people's personalities, don't you?
Yes, you
and
do.
it's lovely, and it is rewarding to be a part of that, of those lives, and that family feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good.
Well, family church is family, and if you're watching from another church, we know that your church is family too, and we want to encourage you to make the most of it. Make the most of what church is on earth, not what one day it will be in heaven. How do you make the most of it? Well, I think this has been brilliant. Philippa's told us so many things, just simple nuggets. Walk across the room, break passivity in your life, get involved, talk to somebody, get in a connect group, get on team. There's so many other things that you could do. But I think, firstly, it's a heart shift. Stop seeing the church as a meeting.
Yeah.
Stop seeing the church as a building on the corner of the street. See church as God's household, a community of people who God says of us, we are his family. Let's start to view each other through the lens of a family understanding. And as we do, I believe we'll get stronger and we'll get richer in that. So, Philippa, thank you so much. This has been really, really good. I know we've had comments coming in during the time of people going, this is speaking to their lives. Hey, why didn't you encourage some other people to watch this on catch up? Go back and watch us maybe. I know some of our connecting churches play these broadcasts to their church in different contexts. Always feel free to do that. And most importantly, why don't you come back and join us next week? So thank you so much, Philippa. Any closing words you want to say?
I think just get involved, be part of the family. Yeah, be blessed as I've been blessed.
Yeah, get involved. Hey, come back and join us next week for Talking Church. Same time, same place. Have an amazing week. God bless.